Hey guys, I hope you're well. Wanted to give you a long-awaited update about what the heck happened with ZDT. So I finally have those answers. Hello from Dunsmuir, California. Nice and cold up here, and heading up north to stay at my uncle's house to save some money. But I will be flying in for key trial development, so fear not. And I can say this because I've gotten confirmation from two definitive sources. Not going to divulge what that was or how that is, but it is official, and it's been taking forever for the website to update. And I know some people have gotten the information they need on the Hero Not Zero Reddit, but some people watching might still be curious. So wanted to let you know exactly what happened and what this means going forward. So what happened is essentially what I assumed was going to happen. Early in the morning at 8:30 a.m., I missed it. Spindle, ZDT's attorney, but not ZDT himself. And no, nobody was... I can't remember the cockamamie story that ZDT tried to give that accused me of stalking him or doing something. I was trying to serve him. He didn't show up, and then Spindle showed up. And we weren't trying to serve Spindle specifically. And especially if he's a different type of attorney. Remember, he's dealing with ZDT in criminal matters. Civil matters, that would be Stephen Tamer. So it would be a different attorney. Maybe you can send it to Tamer, but you can't really send it to ZDT. So I can't remember what else he accused all of us of. But that was a rub. I missed the hearing at 8:30 in the morning. By the time I showed up, that was it. I can't remember what he was accusing me of doing or what, not that it matters. But so ZDT got a continuance. That's all that happened. That's what I assumed would happen. He didn't even enter a plea. I didn't even think he would enter a plea. There was a lot of excitement and assumptions saying, well, he might be able to enter a plea. I said maybe he didn't show up and got a bench warrant. I said that was a possibility. Didn't think that would be the case, and it was not the case. So just a simple continuance. Again, not even a plea yet. But here's the good news. Was there any conference with the prosecutors? Because ZDT was trying to say, well, they're just talking to the prosecutors, and I'll go away and I'll be dismissed. No, that's not what happened. There was no special meeting with the prosecutors. They didn't decide to winnow down or throw out any charge whatsoever. No special deal released. It's not like they were meeting with ZDT and says, you know what? And the prosecutor says, you know what? You really are a victim. I really feel bad now that I look at all this evidence and I see all these people attacking you, even though you've attacked all of them first and gotten them fired from their jobs and have resulted in medical counseling, or have tried to get children separated from their parents, or have tried to get people's entire channels down. He's the victim, right? He's the victim in this story. So they did not buy that argument whatsoever. If they even tried to make it, they probably didn't. But ZDT was trying to portray that he's simply this victim of this gang stalking in some sense, because he is schizophrenic, I think. So I honestly do feel that ZDT probably thinks he has this chip implanted in his brain and that everybody is following him and gang stalking him all the time, when in reality he's the one that's stalking everybody else, and he doesn't have any real content, so he has nothing original to stream. So he's the guilty party in all of this. But that's all that happened, guys, and it's a lot of hurry up and wait. I'm almost guaranteed. I don't think he's even out of continuances yet. I said he may be, but I don't think so, because he got one in the first criminal arraignment. He has two. He could probably have a third. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule as to how many continuances you could have. Usually you could have about 3 until you have to move forward. But if you provide some sort of excuse as to why you can't have that continuance, or why you should have a continuance, then you might even be able to get a 4th continuance. I would doubt it, but my assumption is, even in the next hearing, which isn't until May, that ZDT will ask for yet another continuance. And then finally, my assumption is by June or July, my assumption, late June, is ZDT will finally plead, and if there's a trial, it would begin in July or August. So this is very, very, very much a waiting game. I will tell you some semblance of success that ZDT may have very well had. He didn't have to show up. Usually you have to show up to your criminal arraignment. He did not, right? There's no bench warrant. It seemed like he had to show up before, and he could have made the case that he felt that he was in danger, even though that was bullshit, the prosecutors could have bought that excuse. So the fact that he didn't have to show up in person and everything was still hunky-dory, he didn't commit any violation or anything like that, means his argument, if he made that argument, might have held some serious water in that regard. So in that sense, at least he has that little victory. He might not even have to show up in the future. He could say, probably because of Aaron Smith-Levin, I guess because of me, Stalker Dodge, but mainly because of Aaron Smith-Levin, that he says it's total bullshit, but that he says he could have said that he felt unsafe and therefore needed an excuse not to show up. So he might have been successful in that, in painting this picture that he was being harassed, at least in that specific capacity. But I don't think that, they're going to buy the argument later on in the future, or to try to get anything whittled down, or to try to see ZDT as this victim. Also, if you look up in the court filings, it is official that any appeal of Solomon's RO has been officially dismissed. And there is also this thinking, perhaps, that the reason that ZDT keeps getting continuous is for two reasons. One, if you think you're actually going to get jail time, you may as well try to be free for as long as possible. Remember, he's out on bail, so he's a free man at this point. Maybe he just wants to kick the can down the road and try to enjoy freedom as much as he possibly can. The other analysis that some people have put forth is that he feels that he will have a victory, which I don't think he will, in the RO that he's trying to get against Solomon, and the restraining order that he's trying to get against Solomon. That won't matter. And not only that, it didn't look like he was winning. The first day, it looked like he could win. The second day, the judge completely reversed his decision. Remember, in that conversation, Solomon went on the stand, and ZDT was able to prove that Solomon called him a pedophile. The judge says, well, Solomon was kind of fully involved in this. But then the judge heard all of the stuff that ZDT said, and the judge remarked, well, ZDT started all of this, and ZDT even endorsed the pedophile comments. He said, so what, I'm a pedophile. So even if it was a joke and he didn't feel it was, the fact that ZDT laughed at Solomon's comments indicates that he wasn't harassed or distressed or got real tangible damage from it, right? He's bringing in, he's actively talking about that Solomon calling him a pedophile. He's welcoming it. He's bringing it into a stream. He's making content out of it. He's reacting to it in a kind of fun, joyful manner. So as soon as the judge kind of saw all of that and saw essentially ZDT endorsing Solomon's pedophile comment, bringing it up out of the blue, the judge was saying, you know what, I was going to rule in favor of ZDT. I don't think that's the case anymore. So good luck. But doesn't matter, guys. Even if Solomon wins or loses the RO, or even if ZDT wins or loses the RO against Solomon, it has nothing to do with a criminal case. They won't care. Maybe it looks bad if ZDT... It doesn't matter. I mean, I guess it might strengthen if ZDT says, hey, I won this RO against Solomon, and therefore all these people are attacking me. But it doesn't matter. There's a restraining order. ZDT keeps wanting to argue the validity of the restraining order. The validity of the restraining order has been argued. The only validity that you could argue is, have you violated the clause of the restraining order? Time and time and time again, this guy's screwed. He's violated the clause. He keeps thinking that all of this evidence is going to portray him as this Nelson Mandela type victim. That's been litigated. That's been decided. That's even been appealed, and the appeal has been rejected. That's it. There's nothing more. There's not even an appeal process going on. So the fact that he thinks that he could use that as any sort of assistance in his future cases is totally delirious and ridiculous. He can't. It doesn't matter. Now, if he loses against Solomon, if he loses his RO, that probably won't really matter even. I don't think that's going to really hurt his case. But the judge could say, listen, this guy is so litigious and kind of crazy, he keeps doing all these things, and he lost. But it doesn't matter. I think the direction, and I'll be there for that case. But the result of his RO against Solomon, which is stupid to begin with, has no relevance or bearing at these criminal cases. So he keeps dreaming and thinks that all these different little pieces can be put together to assist him. But in reality, that is simply not the case. It's just not. The guy's screwed. It'll be interesting to see if he pleads guilty or he tries to get lighter charges. But then that's the thing. He keeps saying they're going to throw out. He's had 2 continuances. They haven't thrown it out yet. Not what happened. And I would comfortably say probably after 2 continuances is too late to get the charges thrown out. Maybe winnowed down, perhaps. There's still a chance of that happening, but not thrown out. It's usually the process is it's too late for that. So he keeps dreaming that everybody's going to look at realize that he's the victim in all of this. But that's not the case. And it was weird. I was a little concerned because I tried to talk to the prosecutors, and they were cagey to me, and they interrupted me mid-sentence and wouldn't tell me anything that was happening. So I thought that was odd, but the prosecutors are probably just antisocial, weird people. And some people are freaking rude, and they're kind of uniquely rude in Los Angeles. And it's more than rude. It's blocking to transparency. It was bizarre. I complimented them. I said, I appreciate all the work you've been doing. You'd think they'd want to get some, even if it's for a schmucky little 10,000 subscriber YouTube, at least something with their name in it saying, Heidi Soto has been active in fighting against ZDT and gave me this information. But they were just incredibly rude and cut me off mid-sentence. I thought maybe that could have meant that they had that conversation already and they've already laid down their arms and decided not to go forward with prosecuting ZDT. No, they're just rude, antisocial, bizarre, type A, awful people that you would never want to go to a party with or hang out with. They're just all of them are very strange. The court-appointed attorneys are very nice and cool and chill and seem like normal people. Everybody in the prosecutor's team, they seem like there's this weird robotic lack of emotion or lack of humanity with them. They're very strange, antisocial people is how I would say. And they don't even have the polite niceties that most people would have. But I think that's just them being weird. I don't know. But obviously it didn't show that they were going to drop everything or they didn't want to talk to me because of that. They're just rude people. So that's the rub. I know a lot of people are waiting, and I was really wondering when I should release this. But again, 2 different sources. It's official. It should show up hopefully in the next couple of days online. But that is what happened. So no need to be concerned. And no need to be excited either, because all it was a continuance, and that's what most of these are going to be. And remember, this is going to probably the trial will actually probably begin in July or maybe even August. So the wheels of justice grind very slowly. We're all going to have to be patient. There's going to be a whole lot of nothing burgers until something actually happens. But until then, bear with me. In the meantime, again, I'm heading north, so there should be some interesting coverage in the Canada election. So hopefully you guys should enjoy that. We'll probably do only a week in the Vancouver area, but I'm hoping to see at least Jagmeet Singh from the NDP and Mark Carney from the Liberal Party, try to get his rallies. And then Pierre Poilievre, which is hard to say. I think I pronounced it for the first time correctly without stumbling. The Conservative nominee, I'm going to try to catch a rally of his. And maybe even the Green Party. I can't remember. I think, is Elizabeth May the Green Party nominee again? I can't remember. But anybody who I could choose, only people I probably won't be able to see is Yves Blanchet, I believe his name is, from the Bloc Québécois. And that's because he's only campaigning in Quebec, and Quebec is all the way on the east. So I don't think Yves, if that's how I say his name, is going to come out to the west coast. But everybody else, Maxime Bernier, People's Party. The People's Party is kind of this Trump version, the hardcore, hard right. They only got 2% last time, but still think they're interesting to cover. So hopefully I can see all of their rallies. That would be nice. And then what I'll probably do is fly in for the trial that Henry is likely to have for the planters. That's he's been doing a lot of work, has been very effective at that. So that's another thing that's important to go to. But then other than that, April, I'm going to miss DOA. DOA is a hearing. He'll probably get a continuance himself. I believe that's in the next couple of days. I will be missing that, unfortunately, but if there's a full trial, I will be there for that. And if there is a full trial for DOA, expect that. That's moving a little more quickly than ZDT, but expect that to also happen July, probably August. So I'll probably stay stationed and be living in LA in July and August with all the trials happening, but probably not until then. And then do leave comments what you think is important for me to attend to, what is not important. I ate it in a lot of ways, although ZDT is well on the way to getting served by Mindy, so that's a very good thing. But I ate it in not getting the information flying all the way out there just for a continuance. But if you want me to go to some other key events, let me know. And but again, not until May, guys, will we have the next ZDT situation. So I should be done with everything by then and up and running. And until then, I guess you'll see some lives, but I'll see you on the campaign trail. Take care.